we will start simply with this, and we'll start with you, Alexei. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. Simply put, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing okay, no complaints. Anton, how about you?
Doing fine as well. Uh, Pretty calm day today, so everything's fine so far.
And I'm glad to hear that. Genuinely appreciate you guys taking the time to do this. Obviously, it's been a few days since the release of the debut album, Stardust Sermons. It's out now for people who need to know via Vendetta Records. Have things, because this period can be incredibly busy, of course. So, start with you, Alexei. Have things calmed down now a bit? And are you able to appreciate what you've accomplished here?
Today we have sent a couple packages with our physical vinyl and some CDs to our listeners. So it was pretty, I think, inspiring for us because we started selling, and it's meaning that people are interested in our music, and they even willing to pay us, and it's quite interesting as as a musician. It's appreciation of our work, as I can say. Also, we had read few reviews about our work, and it was exciting as well because it's really interesting how people listen to your music and how they find something interesting in it. Something like that for these days.
How about you, Anton? Have you been able to appreciate what you've accomplished here?
Yeah, and I don't know. The release time, it got kind of interesting because, especially like we were going long way to release the album, so we were doing lots of things on our own and lots of obstacles from life circumstances in that part. But yeah, also when like things settled down and it allowed us to resume the work on the album, and also we got the guys found out the connections with Vendetta Records, and
Yeah.
so like the album was mostly done. I would say 70% done, and like we've came the like a long way, and then there were lots of like waiting time, and now the release time is like it just you kind of even forget about all the effort. Like we were thinking about new album, and now we got released. It got really unexpected for us, and it's like also like the timing I think is ideal because like lots of interesting outlets noticed us, and also especially both like internal Ukrainian outlets and foreign ones, and people will have time to appreciate our work as well, because I don't know, I think like it was a very good time spot for a release. It's just like all the circumstances came up to this, so it's kind of magical a bit.
It is, I mean, any release is always a magical moment, and it's great that it finally happened because, of course, as you said, the album's been postponed several times, numerous factors, but the most obvious being the Russian invasion, of course, of your home country of Ukraine. Obviously, that is such a huge thing that almost to talk about frustrations around a delay and not being able to make the release reality feels small in comparison. However, ultimately, that is something that directly affects you. So I want to talk about that and the frustrations you have felt around the delays and just trying to get this album out, particularly as you're moving on musically.
We planning to release this album 2 years ago in 2022. And the first single was released just 2 days before the war started. After that, we moved from our home city, Mykolaiv, it's a southern part of the Ukraine, to Lviv. We even do not want to work with music for half a year. After 6 or 7 months passed, so we discussed it and want to return to the work. We recorded all the instrumental in 2021 and only vocal. still was not recorded. After that, we goes to the local studio and recorded vocal here, and returned to the mix and mastering. Then we released second single, Still Has a Savior Star, and after that, Vendetta Records contacted us and proposed to release the whole album. And second big challenge, it was mixing and mastering, because we did it by ourselves. All work was done by Anton, and it was really a big challenge for us. But we happy how it finished. And after that started this pre-release period. I don't know how it is called exactly, and we postponed album 2 times because of timing and how other issues. We how printed vinyls and CDs. There is some problem with that. It's not a problem with Vendetta. It's not their issues. It's something with I don't know, companies that made it. So we and it was a reason why we postponed to the autumn. But everything is okay in the end. So it's even better, I think.
You got there in the end. That is the most important thing. Anton, it must have felt like at one stage it would never actually come out.
Yep.
Oh, I always thought that sooner or later the album would come out. Like as Alexei told, like I was at the head of the process for most of the things in relation to albums. So recording guitars, recording bass, recording like we were recording drums on our own. So I bought a like big digital mixer and a set of drum mics that I could find and afford here. And like we recorded drums on our own in our own like rehearsal studio. Like the studio wasn't perfect, but still like this was our idea as well, just to like have the most real sound possible. And like one of the challenges, as like you were asking about the like stops and delays in the release, is like when we were doing on our own, and like I was the head of the process. I was in the need of acquiring gear for recording, like microphones, cables, interfaces, recording interfaces. So like I was buying gear one at a time, and like also buying studio monitors. Like we were doing everything DIY. So I was mixing in my home. And then when the full-scale invasion started, as Alexei also said, we moved to Lviv because Mykolaiv is a southern part. It was really close to Kherson, and it was unknown at the time if the Mykolaiv would fall under occupation or not, if it will be stopped. And there was an option just to like to move out by car into Lviv to our friends. So we decided to do that, and just to watch what happens after that. And if everything settles down quickly, we could come back. But reality dictated its own rules. And when I moved back from Lviv to Odessa, I was able to rescue all my gear, like all my instruments, studio monitors. It was all in Mykolaiv, in the flat where we lived, and it was just standing there. Every time I read that there's a shelling of Mykolaiv with the rockets and ballistics, and like in the approximate area of my flat, like I had millions of visions how all my gear just get burned, and there's a rocket in my flat, and like I need to deal with that. And it's a rented flat, so I don't know what to do with that. And when I moved to Odessa, I was able to rescue all my gear, and I said, all right, at least this is I have this with me. And with all this gear, I was able to continue all the work in like Silvern and other musical projects. And as I said, after that, it went a bit smooth, and all the work related to creating music, releasing music, it got its ability to continue at least. I also bought some new things like monitor stands and everything I thought that I would need to release album of Silvern, like to the highest like quality we could reach in our in our circumstances. So yeah.
It's generally incredible that you're at this stage. I couldn't be more pleased for you that we are at this point, a few days as the time recording from it actually being released. You can buy it now, you can order it now, you can listen to it online. That is all simply incredible. And diving into it and getting deeper into it is a joy because it is an album with a conceptual journey, one that follows a faceless character and explores how the character's perception of reality shifts through various encounters and challenges. It's quite an abstract idea. So can you elaborate on what you're trying to express here?
It's a really hard question for us because the main lyricist, it was our vocalist, and he's not here yeah, he had some business today, and that's why he cannot join, but he really regretted. So I asked him to provide some information because I think this question will be asked, and I'm right. So I just can share it with you. Our vocalist named Vitaly wrote me. I've wanted to write something a bit more conceptual and meaningful, something that carries a sense of purpose from the first track to the last. So our album is a reflection of all the ideas I've nurtured over the years. The main inspiration is life itself in its broadest sense. I've always been fascinated by the contradictory nature of humanity in this universe. We create artificial intelligence, but sometimes fail to throw trash in the bin. We dream of traveling to Mars, but neglect our own planet. We might belong to a religion, go to church, and celebrate religious holidays, yet break commandments in the process. We try to study space, black holes, yet some believe the Earth is flat. There are many such situations. For me, the album represents a sequence of reflection on everything that humanity interacts with. So that's his explanation.
It is a deep explanation, and it is a very, very fascinating one because of, as I say, that contradiction and the duality of a human being. From your perspective, though, specifically, in the realm of grey areas, not everything's black, not everything is white. From your perspective, how have the events of the past few years in your personal life affected your views on this?
I think this events that we live in now, it's really affected me because I think I started to be in more dark view on the life. It's more depressive days as usual for me because usually I'm not a big fan sitting in the dark and thinking about something horrible. But after war started, I experienced a few days that I do not want even work or something. But I have no choice, and I need to do it because we need to pay bills. We need to buy some food for us, etc. But I think music helps here, really. We have some rehearsals. For now, we release an album. It's really helping me to continue to live in. But we hope this war will end one day, and we can live in peacefully. Something like that.
Yes, absolutely, goddamn, absolutely. Anton, continuing that thought process, particularly around the album theme, the duality of man, human belief, should I say, duality of human belief, and contradictions. How has recent events affected your view on this?
Recent events are, I would say, kind of I could say it's a world changing, at least if you were talking about like your inner world and your understanding of the reality itself. And it posed lots of challenges, as like you have a picture of, for example, like what is wrong, what is right, what's not good to do, what's not. And this war kind of it brings lots of challenges to these questions because, well, first of all, this war involves many people and it works on many levels due to like globalization of our current age, and like how the war has transformed in our informational age and how it's done differently now than it was like the last our great war, there was like World War II or any other wars in our previous history. This is something new. Like it's the first war of the dawn of the century and brings lots of new things. And if we were talking about civil life, yes, Alexei also mentioned, you notice lots of changes in your common like day-to-day life. Like on the other hand, most of the things stay the same. Kind of, you see also people walking streets, smiling, doing their usual business, and kind of you do the same. And there is also realization if you don't do the same, this could be a very not beneficial strategy because your mind could start playing games with you. So you kind of need this interaction. You need to leave the house. You need to go for a walk, at least for your own mental health, because this is very insidious thing and something. And when you are locked in your home for a couple of days, you start like you don't notice the change, but change maybe come up where you don't expect it to be. And so like this is also that lots of people need to think about. I can give you just like once again common example. If like I go to groceries and I'm leaving the house and I see like there's an air raid siren, like news said that could be a like ballistic missile heading to the city I live in, and I say, okay, I just stopped where I'm going. I'll just be in a safe place a little bit because like even if I leave the home and go doing my stuff, I could hear an explosion somewhere in the open, and it's something that also you notice that there is a difference if you hear explosion if you're somewhere in a safe place or if you're somewhere open on the streets. It has a much more lasting psychological effect.
Yeah.
And like something that also I talked with a lot of people, they also like they experienced it and they had enough self-awareness to even recognize it and say, yeah, I feeling a bit different after I heard explosion in an open field without no roof above my head. And like the effect goes away like around months, or even like it depends on the person, but around months it could be with you and affect your everyday life, your work and everything else. So we got acquainted with lots of different interesting conditions that I think we wouldn't be encountering otherwise.
I, I, I think we would all hope that we would never have to encounter such conditions. It's impossible for me to relate sitting here comfortably in London, the UK. But yeah, I can only thank God. I'd only hope to never experience it, particularly while of the influence not just on your musical careers and lives and stuff like that, but your personal lives as well. Of course, at its core, this is a black metal album. And with that comes expectation, demand almost. You know this, but of course you've been creative with it. You know, it is a layered release. So talk to me about creative boundaries. Did you set yourself any with this album? And if so, what were those boundaries?
Anton, can you start, please?
Okay, I'll start, and it's an also interesting topic. Then, on the one hand, me, Alexei, and Vitaly, like our trio, we played in different bands before. Like we played in the same band before. So, in a creative process was similar to that. The process was first of all democratic. So each bandmate had their own saying. They could say like, I like this, I don't like this, I like that. And like as everyone had their distinct roles. For example, Alexei was responsible for drums. Like he was the owner of the process. Like we could give some suggestions to him, but he could say he likes them or he doesn't like them, or maybe he'll take them and process them in a different way if he likes the idea. But still, like it's a both creative process, but I would say it's like boundless and limitless. We had our limits. Some, for example, like I could bring some solo to the guys, and they say it doesn't work here. It doesn't belong. I could say it's a very like it's the best solo I could have written here, and like it means so much. There are so many little things about it, and people would could like it, but yeah, if guys said no, like it doesn't fit, so okay, like we had these kind of limitations, but in general, like it's more of a free and open creative process. uh and limits is the limits were just where we didn't like something. Like if you don't like something, that here's the limits.
Which is completely fair.
Yeah.
When
Uh,
you go on, Alexei.
I just wanted to say that not much that I can add here. Anton answers pretty fully. So yeah, we just usually discussing what we want from another song, and provided it to the Anton, because he's a main composer of the album. And sometimes we started from another back. For example, one song I wrote some drum parts and provided to Antoni, and with the explanation that I want that riff here and that riff here. Please write for me something. And yeah, we had some battles, or I don't know, fights between us regarding some parts, because for example, it was 8 song originally, but one I don't like, and I was the main person that said I do not want to play it at all, guys, so please rework it or something, because it's I don't like it at all. And Vitaly mostly working on lyrics, and so he do not share with us his lyrics before he finished it. That was pretty new, because we played together in other band, and usually he shares some ideas. But now he said to us, I want to do it by myself without any interactions. Please be patient and just see results. And I think he did pretty well, and it's his new level in lyrics, because in other our projects, sometimes I help him with the lyric, or just wrote the whole song. But now I think he's really grown, and I'm happy with it.
That's fantastic to hear. Continuing that thought. Go on, sorry, Anton.
Yeah, sorry, Carl. Just a few more additions to what Alexei said. First of all, this song that it got started from drums instead of from the scratch. It was Supreme Cosmic Shape, and I think if you listen to it, you hear how like structure is a bit different from any other song. Like the song is unique in this way. And once again, as Alexei said, he had some highlights for me in the original parts, but sometimes I just got distracted, and I just came up with something that I felt was right at the moment, and that's how this song came to. And yeah, they were also like each and every song had like different ways where it came from, so kind of like, and I think it's also lots of people hear it on the album as songs are pretty different, but still distinctly feel like they are in one album and they're telling one story.
Oh yeah, no question. It's always interesting to hear sort of your view on this, views like this, because to me, listening to it, I wouldn't necessarily be easily able to identify, at least on the first couple of listens, that how it was written, and it does feel, because it feels like a complete thing, particularly over a longer period of time when you are moving on musically. When you listen to it, when you look at it now and look at where you are today, do you think it reflects well who you are in 2024?
Okay, I think I'll be the one to start. For me personally, like if you listen to Stardust Sermons of Silvern, it's like this is one part of my myself, my musical taste, and like it's a like more dark, more like this cosmic, I don't know, very very broad and very cold part there, and I can express like all these feelings that I associate with it. For example, like another project, Floscule, I have more limited exposure there, and I have more limited role. But it also is like a little part of me, but like it has more like this more traditional and maybe hardcore aggressive part. And there's a other band called Bullrush, and they're like, this is a stoner metal, and it's in different parts. So like in each, I try to what I also like try to do is, and I think I have some success with it, is in every project it reflects just like a different part of me, and you could hear some things are similar. For example, like when about the quality or the approach for the composition. Like I try to like invent some things. I don't like some standard things. I like some extraordinary things, and this is also something similar across different projects. And in Silvern, like yeah, it's a concentrated thing because I'm responsible for the sound, recording, mixing. So it's more of me, like me who I am. And I think also it's fair to say that people like sometimes when they have criticism about maybe some sounding or maybe some little things here and there, and I think this is a valid criticism because of how involved I am at every stage. So this is kind of like an author thing. It becomes an author thing, and lots of other places have my significant, I would say, calligraphy. I'm trying to find a better translation from our native language. Like it has my mark. Let's say
Your
like that.
signature, so to speak.
And yeah, it's my signature. It could be good. Sometimes some people might not like it, but that's just how it is. It's the thing about author stuff. So
Yeah.
when there is a creative team, the result is different. But when like it's a limited team, like one man or a couple of people do all the work, then they leave the mark on this work. And it sometimes could be a good thing, sometimes it could be a bad thing. Then it depends on the person.
Understand. Alexei,
Yeah.
what would success for Stardust Sermons look like for you?
I think it will be very nice if a lot of people just hear it. Maybe they will not like it, but I want them just to listen as much as possible, people, because we really think it's for us it's great work. Maybe it's pretty selfish, but I really think so, and I want to share it. It's even doesn't matter will they buy it or not. Yeah, it's as I mentioned before, it was pretty exciting for us that people started to buy, but it's not the main reason for us to play music. We just really want to share, and as Anton said, it's for him it's a pretty signature music, and I think in the same way. So just listen to it, and it will be success for us. That's all.
Completely fair and completely understandable. Anton, what do you hope listeners take away from Stardust Sermons?
Well, yeah, once again, similarly to Alexei's answer, I think it will be a good way if listeners would feel something from the album, if they'll find something, if it will resonate with them, if it will give them some food for thought to think, or just maybe to stop and reflect on their own thoughts. I think this will be a great success if people find it entertaining, find it pleasant to listen, and to get back to, not just listen one time and then forget it and then just move on to the next thing. And then if the people listening and returning back, I think this will be a sign of success of the album. So people want to go back, and I think they could, in each and every listen of the song of album, they could find some interesting things that me, Vitaly, or Alexei buried there somewhere. Yeah. And I think that this will be a success.
Well, we will find out because, of course, it's so fresh, it's so new that any kind of reflection on how well it's doing or how well it's being received, it's way too soon to say. 6 months down the line, we shall see. But so far, the reaction to it has been really, really strong, which is great to see. Of course, and a little bit of money your way wouldn't do no harm either if we're talking about success. But of course, you as musicians move on, and the future is hopefully quite bright. So, briefly, if you can, kind of sum up what's going on right now, what the next, say, 6 to 12 months might look like for Silvern.
So we started to discuss internally what we want to hear from our second album. We have some drafts for songs, but nothing completed yet. Just a few fresh ideas that we throw to each other and discussing is it okay or not. And I believe in next 12 months we complete some songs. I don't know how many it will be, but I hope as much as possible. And we will see. First of all, we still have war in our country, and we may not even do it at all because this week we had huge missile strikes for Lviv, and it was pretty horrible sitting in the shelter in the night and listening to these explosions. But on the bright side, I think we have some new emotions to express in our music, and I really hope we will be alive when recorded second album for Silvern.
Anton, finally for you then to answer this one. It's obviously hard to look too far ahead and think about these things, but I guess I want to sort of ask you what people can do to help not only support you going forward, but obviously to support Ukraine as well, and help support the possibility of you, say, for example, being able to travel and play this music live. What would you ask people to do?
Oh, it's I got the toughest one, I believe. All right, let me think. Yeah, well, obviously, I could ask people to support Ukraine whenever, however they can, and it could be supporting charity, it could be supporting people that moved out of the country if they live somewhere in your city. What I could also say is just keep an eye on for every people of every country, keep an eye on your politicians, what's going on, because I think the world now should learn a couple of new lessons about our new reality and the way we live, and we need to really be if we want to have if we like democracy, we want to continue playing by the rules of democracy, we need to learn it a little bit better and do better with it, because we could now see some places where democracy cracks, and we see if there are people willing to exploit these cracks, they will be doing it, and if nobody does anything about it, then everything is set. So we need to be more vigilant, more thoughtful, self-aware about the world that we live in and what other people are doing in this world. I think that would be my message.
Alexei, it'll be remiss of me not to ask you to offer any words if you have any.
So if some listeners want to support, first of all, our country, they just can donate for such big funds as Come Back Alive. It's one of the largest in Ukraine, and I believe them. So I am donated to them personally as well. If also I agree with Anton that if some people just want to just listen to politics, just make some good decisions, and do not support some assholes, even it's in they are living in your country. As for Silvern, if you want to help us, just listen to our music, and if it touches you in some way, you can buy it. If not, it's okay.
Fair enough. Absolutely, but I do urge people to do check it out. It's a really digestible piece of music as well. I just want a couple more minutes of your time, if that's okay. This is Ozzy Osbourne, and in his head are random cards of everything and anything, including many submissions by bands and artists themselves that we've spoken to over the year. I'm just going to pull out some random and choose a name, and if you don't mind answering. There can be anything and everything. So, for example, let's say we'll start with you, Alexei. What is the first thing you do after you wake up in the morning, or the evening, or the afternoon? First thing you do after you wake up?
I'm going to the toilet.
Yeah.
It's first thing I usually do.
I love it. Anton, what is a topic that you were quite argumentative about?
Politics. Really, any topic. I could argue about any topic. But politics is pretty argumentative, but it could be any social topic, history and anthropology, cosmology, you name it.
Yep, anything. Oh, I love it. Okay, Alexei, do you think aliens have ever come to Earth?
I think if they even come to Earth, they say "fuck this shit" and go away.
That's fair. Okay, Anton, have you ever had a nickname? And if so, what is or was it?
Oh, yeah. Throughout most of my life, I had a couple of nicknames, but they all they are based around my surname. Kind of like first, like it started from "Незашнурованный Pelé," which means untangled Pelé. Like it's a football player, if you remember it. And then it was just like a variations of Pele, Pela, Pelan, and like just like 4 or 5 letters of my surname. Basically, that was my nickname throughout like my life.
Imaginative. Alexei, what is a useless talent you have?
Useless talent?
Yeah, but a useless talent you think you have.
Start people thinking that I hated them.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people when we met for the first time thinking that that I hate him. I don't know, or her. I don't know why.
Okay.
But it's pretty pain in the ass, I may say.
Okay. Anton, what is something you own that another person might think is strange?
Oh, I cannot even begin to think about it. There are so many things. I don't know. Let's say 3D printer.
Okay. Okay, you're on a 3D printer. Do you use it often?
Yeah, I use it pretty often. Sometimes I kind of forget about it, and sometimes like we just don't have electricity in the city, and these are the times I don't use it. But I'm trying to use it more than less.
What was the last thing you printed on it?
Oh, I'm printing right now, and it's it's a couple of things to to help and support Ukrainians.
Fantastic. Lesky, do you have any tattoos? If no, would you get one? If yes, tell me about one.
No, I have no tattoos yet. Maybe one day I will do something with my favorite characters from the video games, I think, because I'm a pretty big gamer, and I have couple ideas regarding it, so I think it will be something like that.
What characters?
Ooh, yeah, share.
I don't know. The last idea it was to be from Nier Automata. That's one of my favorite game. So something like that. Or I don't know, maybe something connected to the From Software games, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, or something.
I'm literally drinking out of a, don't know if you can see that, it's my current cup.
Oh, it's since you died.
Yeah.
So, and I actually have a Dark Souls tattoo on my arm up here as well. So big fan there. Okay, let's move on. Anton, if you could live in any city in the world, where would you choose?
Yeah, well, one last thing I just want to say, you drink coffee to get good. Well, actually, I'm living in Odessa right now, and I think it's a very good city to live.
Yeah.
At least right now in the current circumstances, and I'm very fond of it. It's hard for me to tell. I would like to try out a couple of cities before I choose the one to settle in. But like, I've been around Ukraine, and there are a couple of cities in Ukraine I would think I could just go in and settle in there. But I would also like to visit some like capitals of Europe, for example, maybe visit America. So yeah, I'm still in the progress and cannot give an answer on that.
That's a damn good one. All right, let's go. What is a video game that you could just lose hours to?
So currently I'm playing Elden Ring. Yeah, and I spent approximately 200 hours for it.
About right.
Yeah, and I bought this DLC, The Shadow of the Tree, and started again with a new character. So I think it will be even more hours, something like that. Another 100. It's for sure.
Oh goodness me! Is Elden Ring, or is there another game? What's the game that you've sunk the most hours into, do you think?
I spent a lot of for Apex Legends. It's multiplayer, so we played with friends pretty often and I played just 1 hour before this interview with them. So I think it's the game where I spend the most hours of my life.
Okay. All right. And lastly, to wrap this interview up today, guys, Anton, is there any aspect of social media that you think can be good?
Yeah, I think the aspect of bringing people together, it can be good, but like what sits in front of this is like all these algorithms that what they do is they bring in people too much, like and so they create echo chambers. And when people in these echo chambers encounter some different opinion that may be not very radical, but they perceive it as very radical because they were in an echo chamber, they didn't like know any other opinions. So I think the bringing up people together is a good aspect of social media, but there are some things that just like the social media lost its way, I think.
That's a really polite way to put that. That's a really understated way to put that. Lost its way. But you know what hasn't lost its way? It's Silvern, because of course the debut album, Stardust Sermons, is out now, available to buy, listen, purchase, whatever you can do. Check this album out. Support Silvern, and of course support Ukraine as you deal with the oppressor and invasion of Russia. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I really, really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Carl.
Have a nice day.
It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website, where reviews, news, and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at GBHBL. Just search for GBHBL and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.